Hello, you are welcome. I want to share with you your rights and duties as a tenant and as a landlord in this country, Italy. A lot of people have shared with me their experiences of how they were sent out of their apartments. They were given quick notice, even while their house contract was not expired, and how their landlords refused to renovate an essential part of the house that got damaged. And I've also heard from some landlords how their tenants could not pay their house rents and how they malhandled the apartment in which they lived. So it is very important you know the do's and don'ts as a tenant in Italy and as a landlord in Italy. First and foremost, I want to share with you the types of house contracts that legally exist in this country. One, we have the long-term house contracts that can be made between the landlord and the tenants without any lawyer. It's just based on agreements between the two, and that lasts for 4 years. And after the 4 years, it can be renewed for another 4 years. So in Italian language, it is called contratto a canone libero, 4x4. It lasts for 4 years and can be renewed for another 4 years.
I contratti a canone libero che durano non meno di 4 anni con un rinnovo automatico di 4 anni alla prima scadenza.
Another type of house contract is referred to as contratto a canone concordato. It means the contract is set up legally. You meet a lawyer to draw out the terms of the contract. The first duration of the contract is for 3 years, which can be renewed for another 2 years. So that one is 3x2 contracts.
Che durano invece 2 anni, ma la prima scadenza è di 3 anni, pertanto sono chiamati contratti 3+2.
Another kind of house contract is given to students. That one lasts from 6 months to 36 months.
Sono i contratti di locazione per studenti universitari che variano da 6 a 36.
Another type of house contract is transit contracts. Contratti ad uso transitorio. That one lasts from 1 month to 18 months. It is the contract in which the landlord rises up to try the tenant for 1 year to know if the tenant will be able to pay the house rents and maintain the property. That one lasts from 1 month to 18 months, after which it can be renewed for another 18 months, depending on the agreement between the two parties. But usually after that kind of contract, if the tenant intends to remain in that property, the next contract is the one that lasts for 4 years, the standard contract. That one lasts for 4 years, and after the 4 years, it can be renewed for another 4 years.
Poi i contratti a uso transitorio, che possono durare da 1 a 18 mesi.
Now, what are your rights as a tenant? As a tenant, the landlord does not have the right to enter your apartment without your consent. You must give the landlord a consent of access. If you as a tenant, you do not want your landlord to come into your house, he cannot force his way in. That is your right.
Il proprietario non può mai entrare nella casa senza il consenso dell'inquilino.
Secondly, your landlord does not have the right to give you a quick notice. If the contract is in progress, it has not expired. So I've heard from a lot of people how their landlords, they gave them quick notice even within the duration of their house contract. It is not done. If you take any legal action against that landlord, you will win the case. So as long as there is a contract and the house has been registered with the registration office, which is the revenue office, your landlord has no right to give you a quick notice when the contract is still in progress. The only situation in which he has a right to give you a quick notice if there is no house contract, that is when he has the right to give you quick notice anytime he wants. Furthermore, as a landlord, you may ask, what about a tenant that refuses to leave an apartment after the contract expires? Now, the simple answer is a legal action. You sue him or her. The judge will mandate him or her to leave the apartment within the stipulated time. So it's a legal action that you take against a tenant that refuses to leave your apartment at the expiration of the house contract. Another thing you have to know as a tenant is that the expenses incurred in maintaining the house, the apartment, in renovating the apartment is the responsibility of the landlord. For instance, if any of the major appliances in the house breaks down, like the sink, like the water source, the light source, the washing machine breaks down, the pans, the roof begins to leak in water, those are major responsibilities that the landlord has to take responsibility of. Then there are other minor repairs. Those ones are the responsibilities of the tenants.
La manutenzione ordinaria, che riguarda piccole riparazioni dovute all'usura e all'utilizzo dell'elettrodomestico, spetta all'inquilino. La manutenzione straordinaria, che invece riguarda le riparazioni più importanti, come appunto ad esempio la rottura integrale di un elettrodomestico, spetta al proprietario. Se quindi mi si romperà la lavatrice o la lavastoviglie, sarà il proprietario a doverla sostituire integralmente.
Another thing that you must take note of as a tenant is to always report any defects in the house. Put it in writing to your landlord for record's sake, so that at the end of your stay, the landlord will not say that you caused those things. So it's good, anything, any defect, anything that breaks down, you report immediately to the landlord, you put it in writing and keep the record.
Quando verifichiamo una situazione del genere, dobbiamo subito segnalarla al proprietario e metterla per iscritto, in modo tale che quando andremo a rilasciare l'immobile non ci venga addebitata la responsabilità.
Another thing you must take note of as a tenant is never pay any cash deposits as house, as a surety, as a caution. In Italian, it is called capara. Capara. It will be used to repair the damage you caused. Now, never you pay any deposit until the house is registered officially. You have to take note of that. And if at the end of your stay, at the end of your contract, that there is no defects caused by you, the house is still in normal form, then the landlord must refund your deposits to you. You know, as you use a house, it gets older. That is how things are. Now, if the house becomes older in the passage of years, that is not a default. That wouldn't stop your landlord from refunding your cash deposits. Okay, so your cash deposit has to be refunded at the end of the stay if you did not destroy anything. It is only in a situation where you broke down some things in the apartment that the landlord will say, I'm going to use that surety cash deposit to repair those things.
Infine ricordiamoci di non versare mai una caparra o comunque il primo canone della locazione prima di aver sottoscritto regolarmente il contratto e prima che questo sia stato registrato.
So I hope I've been able to clarify and I've been able to make you understand the things you have to know as a tenant and as a landlord in Italy. Thank you for watching. Ciao.